times we did come into contact was at Ken 5
It was.
News.
I think I had a show like a couple weeks after or before that. I remember I was like somewhat dieting at that time.
Yeah, that was a really fun experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
How's it been going since then?
Pretty good. I want to say that was 2 years ago. A year?
Yeah,
It was
a few
probably
years
2
ago.
years ago. It's been going good. Been keeping on working, and I'm just trying to get better since then.
Yeah, you have a ridiculous, amazing physique, and obviously that's what
Thank
you
you.
focus. You're welcome. Thank you. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. One of our good friends, or my good friends, is Stephen Wiley, and
right.
he brought us together, and I got to work out with him this weekend, and I was super sore for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And so is that the kind of, well, you don't know what kind of workout he was doing, like these drop sets and
yeah, high intensity, more like higher rep workouts. I'll throw those in pretty much every workout. Whenever I go into the gym, I'll usually just throw at least a couple drop sets in there.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I've never had a workout quite like that, and I just repeated it this morning, and I'm feeling really good about myself.
Oh, I'm sure. I heard Steven worked out with one of my friends, Bartise, and Bartise was telling me that they were kicking each other's ass in the gym. So
it's a great feeling to get all that stress out on the weights.
Oh, love it. You absolutely love it.
What got you started with this
bodybuilding training? Basically, so honestly, it started back in high school. So I'm 25 now, but back in my freshman year, college or in high school, I honestly just wanted to get girls at the time. I was just a tall, skinny dude, like just a tall, skinny dude with like big ears. So I was just like, dang, I just want to. And watching like shows on TV that show guys with muscles that are pulling or just getting girls left and right. I was like, all right, well, this is what I have to do. So I just go wake up every morning before school, go to the gym, and it just slowly became like I would just do arms every day after school till about like my senior year. Senior year, I started training a little bit of everything, and then that's when my passion from like sports, like basketball, went to bodybuilding. I was like, I don't really love basketball anymore. So it kind of just drifted on to just training and just improving my physique, and just eventually competing came along.
I imagine you must have been getting like a good feeling about it. Like, do you get
for sure?
How do you feel when after you work out or when you're working out?
So when I'm working out, I mean, it feels great. I just, I guess I don't want to say I was like bullied. I definitely was not bullied, but in high school, everyone like picks on each other, and like,
yeah,
in middle school too, you kind of like toughen each other up. But it was nice to like be training and then get like acknowledgement, like, hey, you're definitely growing. You're growing. Like, oh my, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It was nice to get like acknowledgement, and just seeing progress for myself. It eventually went from me training to try to get girls to like that being the last reason why I'm training. Now it's just like, for me, it feels good. I want to see like if I can improve and eventually become a pro and just see what happens, just take it step by step and see how far I can take it. But now it's mainly for me and just doing it out of fun.
You're not pro. You look like you should be pro.
In 3 weeks I will be, for sure.
Shit. What's going on in 3? Is that a contest in 3 weeks?
I have a show. So last year I did a national show, and I got 3rd place, which is, and top 2 go pro. So I was 1 spot away from turning pro. And then this year, everything just feels right. Like, just everything's clicking. We're taking, me and my coach Jojo, we took all the information we've learned from last prep into this one, and it just feels like I mean, I don't want to guarantee it because you never know who's going to show up. There could be some guy in like the middle of nowhere that has no Instagram that's just like this freak athlete that shows up, but I really feel like this is the year that I turn pro.
Yeah, when I see your Instagram, I don't know how anyone could beat you unless they're like the Hulk or Arnold or something.
There's some freaks. There's people that travel all over the country. Some from different parts of the world, but there's a lot of people that come out to these shows and try to get their pro card. So it's just a lot of competition,
What happens when you go pro? Like what
So
changes?
then that's when you are at the pro level and you can start competing at pro shows. And that's
Get paid?
you can get money. But the real money comes from like contracts with sponsors and all that. But and then eventually getting to the Olympia. So if you win a show or get enough points from winning or placing well in shows, then you can go compete at the Olympia. Which I don't see myself doing anytime soon. I just want, just one goal at a time, just trying to go pro first, and definitely want to take a good amount of time off after, and just to try to improve and be competitive at these pro shows, because I don't know if I want to go there, and not place, so
Right.
just want to be ready. Sure I'm right, because there's guys that have they're 20 years experience of training that are that are pro level trying to get to the Olympia, so it's just guys that have a lot of experience training, and definitely want to be prepared whenever I go up there again.
What age approximately are guys that are winning those shows? Are
those pro shows
older?
It just depends. They're either if they're below 25, they're usually freaks, like genetic freaks. Like there's some guys, like I ran into one of them, one show or my first national show. So I've done 3 national shows, or 2 national shows. No, 3, my bad. Well, this will be my 3rd one, but my first national show, I ran into one, and this guy won the whole show, and he was 21. And,
wow.
And it's just and he apparently was only training for 8 months. Just been a soccer player his whole life, and trained a little bit and turned pro. So it's just crazy. So, but most of the time, if there's no genetic freaks, they're usually 29 to 33 range, 28, 33 range.
Because it takes time to build up all that muscle,
absolutely.
Right? Normally.
Absolutely. Right. And the muscle maturity factor comes into play. Just having experience and time, and that definitely plays a factor, which it hurts a lot of young guys, the muscle maturity thing, because they'll train forever. I know it definitely hurt me when I was 21, 22, competing in these local shows, and some guy that's 29 would come in and just destroy me just because the muscle maturity.
What does that mean? Muscle maturity?
Muscle maturity. So your muscle, so the muscle basically looks fuller, more developed, a lot bigger, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The older you get, the more you age. So
okay.
That's basically sense. It is.
I mean, because I weigh 150, and the most I've ever weighed was 170, and that was right after basic training in the Army. I was eating clean the whole time, and we worked out many times a day, all day, and we got 3 meals a day, plenty of rest. Not too much rest, but a decent amount of rest. But then I lost it. It's to keep up that weight, it's got to be a grind.
For sure, absolutely. Mostly in the kitchen, just eating nonstop, 6 meals a day. In my off season, there's times where I'm up, staying up late just to eat, and it sucks. But
oh my god,
yeah, it's tough. It's crazy how things change. Right now, I'm on prep, and I'm not eating as much, so I'm going to bed probably at 9:30 or 10. But in my off season, I'm staying up till sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning just to get down a meal. I'm literally just up playing games and just trying to get this meal in.
Okay, so that's to like, do you lose the weight, like after the show's over? Does it start just falling off or what?
Well,
Or do you
it's
get to
actually the
keep?
opposite, right? So it's
Okay.
actually the opposite right now, since I'm so because whenever you diet down, you don't really have much body fat. So after the show, you usually hold on to some water, um, and then of course, eventually, like whenever you start eating the foods that you haven't had in a while, you're going to put on some body fat as well. So it just depends. I try not to go crazy after the show with like eating whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
um, you definitely can put on probably, there's some people that put on like 20 pounds like after the first week. So I'll bet my off season, I usually, the most I've ever gotten up to was 260.
Whoa.
And right now I'm currently 230 right now.
Okay. And so, like, there's a conception that you turn that weight that you put on into muscle when you start working out again. It like build off of itself and you keep
Right,
you.
right. I don't want to say it turns into straight muscle because you definitely put on a lot of water. Your strength, it stays the same, but like once like your body um, comes back down to normal with like the metabolism and everything, and then basically you'll be in a stage where you're starting to build muscle again. But it's all about your caloric intake and training and rest.
Okay. So, I mean, I want to get up to about 170. Steven and I are supposed to do a cage match, and he weighs 190 and I weigh 150. And
Okay.
so
Yeah,
I
it's
need to get up
basically,
to
yeah,
170, and he's going to drop down to like 180, and that'll be about as close as we can get, I think.
for sure.
What do I need to do?
Basically, you just gotta focus because the training part's easy, but it's all about just um, eating. Getting the meals in after your workouts. You want to make sure you're um, in a
So
caloric
like right
surplus.
after, right after I work out, or like, within an hour or whatever.
Right. I would eat probably every 2 to 3 hours during the day, whenever you can. If you're ever hungry, then you're doing it wrong. That's what I usually tell people. If you're ever like, you should never be hungry whenever you're trying to put on mass.
Yeah, but I mean, it fell off after basic training, and I guess, like, how do you keep it on? Just
Keep
you
it
gotta keep.
on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just staying consistent with your diet, or just eating, just continuing to eating a lot. If you eat a lot, and it also depends on how much cardio you're doing as well, how much calories you're burning. But it's all
Do you
about
do
calorie.
do you do
What's that?
cardio? Do you do cardio?
My off season, I do just for like health purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I train and I don't do cardio, like, there's a lot of benefits to cardio. I love it during the off season, but whenever I train and don't do cardio, I'll find while I'm lifting, I'll start breathing heavy quicker, and I cannot stand that. So I'll do cardio because it helps me like go longer in the gym as well, and just for skin purposes, heart health. There's a lot of benefits to doing cardio while you're intaking a lot of calories.
What about like yoga and stuff?
Yoga, I eventually want to
Mhm.
get into that. My girlfriend, she's like trying to be an instructor right now, and she's trying to get me to do it. Um,
Does that
I
affect your lifting and,
honestly,
like,
I have no idea. I've never had a yoga session.
wow.
I know, and I've heard so much about it. I actually, um, I had a class this morning, and the instructor was telling me that like he was doing yoga, and it's like not what you think it is. It's exhausting. You think it's easy, and I'm
Mhm.
definitely curious to try it. Like whenever I'm done with the show, I definitely want to try some yoga out.
Yeah, but you're in like focus mode
Right,
on
right. I because
being.
like right now, there's no energy to be like I'm just saving all my energy and using it for workouts right now. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But after the show, for sure, I want to try it out, give it a shot. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and yeah,
I mean, because I've heard guys that are like super jacked, can barely touch their toes, and like you lose a lot of flexibility
for
because your
sure.
muscles are so tight. And
For sure, a lot of bodybuilders, including myself, which is bad, but they don't stretch as much as they should. There's some that do stretch a lot. I'm terrible at it. I try to after every workout, but it's definitely not where it should be. But I definitely want to improve on that because I know there's a lot of benefits, like with like just recovery and even posing as well.
Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to get into a little bit, is just the balance of the health. You know, when you're just constantly pushing your muscles, how do you balance that with? Because it seems like you would just be super tight and sore or something all the time.
Right. So I definitely try to give my body the nutrients it needs, the pill, the multivitamins, fish oils, liver care, but most importantly, rest. I feel like the body, a lot of people that get into it, including myself, when I first started out doing bodybuilding, they train 24/7, and like I was stubborn when I was like 19, 20, 18, like that range. I was stubborn. I did not want to take a rest day. I felt like I wasn't doing, I could be doing more. But in reality, like your body needs to rest. So I just
what does
tell
that
people
mean?
so like if
you?
you're like basically if you go to if you're training and a body part is sore, you're not feeling like 100%, and then you shouldn't be training that same body part, or you should like I just tell people to listen to their body. If their body's telling them I'm exhausted, I can't, like this is going to be terrible, like I can't, this workout's going to be terrible, I can't push through this, then it's way more beneficial to just take a rest day, relax, kick your feet up, and just eat some good food.
I imagine video games are good for those types of
It's
things.
amazing. I love it. So yeah, it's definitely like just a stress reliever. You can connect with your friends that are on, and buys time in between meals.
I mean, it's just
Love
like
it.
the contrast of the pressing your body to the maximum,
Absolutely.
and then allowing it,
Entertaining yourself while resting, pretty much.
Yes.
It's a great way to just relax after like a long day working out, working, and all
What
that.
do you play?
So right now, I actually just sold my PlayStation, the PlayStation 4, because the new one's coming out soon. But I was playing Call of Duty. I was playing NBA 2K for a little bit. Rocket League. I'm a big Rocket League player. And I was playing Fall Guys.
Okay.
Yeah, Fall Guys. Fall Guys. I was playing that one for a little bit too. But
I should sell mine. I've actually already bought one and sold it, and then I bought another one when we moved out. I just moved, and we're in the mountains.
It's good to do it now, because I know there's a lot of people that are buying it right now just to resell it. Like I put mine on the what's the app called? OfferUp. I put it on OfferUp, and literally 2 minutes later it was sold. Like people are going crazy for it right now. So I just figured like I'm on prep right now. Probably I'm going to bed early anyway. And by the time the show's done, the PlayStation 5 will come out and we'll be ready to go.
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. You're taking advantage of timing and everything. That's a beautiful thing. How much sleep do you get?
So right now, I'm getting the most I've ever gotten. Probably like 8 hours of sleep. Usually I'll be fine with like just 6 hours, but like, this sounds terrible, but like I'll get so hungry at night, I'll just go to sleep, like,
so that makes sense.
Pretty early, so I can wake up, and then eat again.
Right. Yeah. So you don't have to be awake hungry, just go ahead and go to sleep. I've been doing these weekly 24-hour fasts.
Okay.
And that's it's like just if you go to sleep, then you don't have to be sitting there hungry, like you're with your stomach growling. Sometimes I lay there in bed hungry, so that's
Right. Yeah.
unfortunate.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
How do
but
you feel on that fast?
I'm getting better at it. I'm getting more used to it. It's getting easier and easier. I think your body kind of
Gets used to it.
acclimates. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
It's, but I'm also, I lost like 13 pounds, so I'm not sure
Awesome.
it's yeah,
Oh,
but
but
I
you're
kind of
trying to gain, right?
a little bit. I'm not fat, so and I'm getting kind of like too skinny, so I want to. I don't know, maybe just when I am eating, I need to eat more. And I've been eating really clean. We make this amazing chicken salad like 3 or 4 times a week, and
Nice.
it's really sustains it, especially right before the fast. I'll eat a huge one, and it makes the next day go by easier. And so when I say 24, it's more like 40, because I go from
Oof.
Sunday night to Tuesday lunch. And
Wow.
yeah, and it's it's hard. It was hard it wasn't even hard the first time. The second time it was a little bit difficult. The third time was easy. The second time is because I didn't prep right and I ate some shit food that just really didn't carry over well. So I need to make sure I'm eating those slow burning carbs and the chicken, and just make sure I'm not,
Right.
you know, just do what works.
Deteriorating. Yeah, for sure.
But so typically we talk about like what it takes to be successful on this podcast, and also just like the mental aspect of success. And
Right.
but also before we get into that, just getting in the zone, like losing all sense of like space and time or whatever when you're just being what you're doing.
Right.
And and like when I'm playing basketball, which I've gotten away from, but I try to find other ways of finding that space, getting in the zone. But like when I play basketball, that's when I can get into it the easiest. But do you
Right.
find when you're working out, like do you get in a zone? Do you like?
Um, I wouldn't say just working out. It's probably like just the whole time I'm on prep. Well, maybe like the last like 5 weeks of the show, it really cranks up. I'm just like more locked in,
Mm-hmm.
focused. I'm very bodybuilding has fit me very well because I'm very competitive. Um, so like just knowing that there's someone out there, that there could be someone out there that wants what I want, just motivates me and fuels me. I'm very competitive. Um, and I just know like I don't want to do this show and then think back, what could I have done better if I didn't get what I wanted. Like I could have done more cardio. I could have not slept up on my diet. I could
Mm-hmm.
have followed the plan to a T. Not missed the training session. I could have uh, pretty much just do everything that I possibly can to have the best outcome for this show.
Yeah, there's like that old saying, if there's somebody out there doing it, if you're not doing it, there,
Right.
that drives you to make sure you're.
On point.
Yeah, that's
For sure. And
I'm very competitive also, and that I bet it doesn't really apply in my case anymore. But just like if you're going to go pro at a professional sport or whatever, knowing that there's somebody out there, or there might be somebody out there working harder, but I imagine would push you harder. And is that
right,
kind of like your
absolutely.
drive? That's kind of what helps you focus and stay motivated.
For sure. So like I think I mainly fell in love with the training part of it. Like when I first started, like I just loved going to the gym, and competing just was like the icing on the cake, because now my competitiveness is able to come out and kind of
Push you
push me,
further.
right,
Yeah.
push me further. Because like if like there was one point where I was going to the gym for like probably 6 years, my sophomore year of college, got kind of bored, and I didn't know, like, all right, well, like, I put on a good amount of size. Like now, like, I'm kind of bored now. I don't know if I want to keep doing it. Now someone introduced me bodybuilding, and brought the competitive nature to it, to me. And now I'm like, okay, now I want to keep doing this. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just pushing myself, trying to be the best that I can possibly be. And it's just been an awesome journey, just going through it. Like the motivation of only of placing third last year, one spot away from pro,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
now coming back. Like I remember right when I got off the stage last year, I was like, all right, I want to get right back up there. I got to figure out when the next show is. I'm like, I couldn't stand the thought of having to wait a whole nother year.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
It,
it's just, I just love the competitiveness of it.
yeah, because there's a different story when you're just working out to where you're working out for a competition. Like it's easy for
For sure.
someone that doesn't have to perform to just be like, well, I don't need to do this,
Right.
and like I liken it or compare it to cage fighting, where when you're preparing for a fight, you're putting everything into it and you're focused, that's on your mind constantly. I need to get up and run and train. And
Absolutely.
if you're not doing that and you get in the cage, you might get your ass kicked. And
Absolutely. Right.
in your case, it's more like a mental ass kicking that's going to take a year to get back on that
For sure.
stage. So
Also kind of, like just getting your ass kicked on stage, because you don't want to see those stage shots, and you didn't look the best. You're standing in a lineup and you look the worst out of all of them. It's also a terrible feeling when they, like I've been there before, where they call the top 5 to battle it out on stage, and you're not one of them, and you have to watch them battle while you're like,
just watching.
just standing there, yeah, just watching, and you're just like thinking like, oh, this sucks, get me off the stage.
Yeah, all that
uh,
work you put
all that
into it.
work, right? So I mean, like some people like me, I prep, I like to have long preps because it's easier to transition, from like eating a lot of food to, like I can't just flip the switch. I like to slowly do it. But uh, basically, I forgot where I was going with this.
Well, we're talking about just the mental, like what you don't want to lose, and
Oh
but
yeah,
then
yeah, that's
so
right. So basically, I don't want to like prep for 23 weeks, and then just get up on stage and look
for
terrible,
yeah
So it's
for
kind of like you just put yourself through all that suffering, and that's another reason why, like, whenever I do turn pro, like I want to wait a long time, because I don't want to go through like 20 weeks of suffering just to get my ass kicked.
no, yeah, and but you were saying like when the transition, you like to do it slowly. Is that when coming out of training or going into training, or
So
both?
just it's training. It's training all year, but basically, only thing that changes is diet. So like I could be going from eating a lot of food and doing doing not much cardio, like maybe 20 minutes twice a week for my off season, to like cardio 30 minutes every day, in a caloric deficit, no more cheat meals. I can't eat whatever I want whenever now. Like I'm on a strict plan. It's a lot easier for me to transition with a longer prep, because I'm able to be a little bit more flexible when I'm 20 weeks out versus when I'm like 10 weeks away from the show.
Right.
So, because I know some people will do like an 8-week prep, and it's just like a flip of the switch, and they're doing an hour of or 2 hours of cardio a day, and it's like just pure suffering. But
And that's like when you're cutting to get shredded the
right,
most.
right.
Okay.
Whenever you're trying to lose all the body fat, um, yeah, you definitely, like, I love just taking a longer prep and easing my way into it. I can enjoy it. Like this prep has been the easiest for me. I've just been, it's like kind of like making smaller changes each week. So you never even know like how big of a change you made, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, it's like tiny baby steps towards
Right.
the cut instead of like that
And
hard cut.
I think that should be applied with like anything when it comes to like bodybuilding or training. Like, people will ask me like, how to, like, or like the best way to diet down or like train. Like people want to go 0 to 100, but they gotta, just like take baby step, one step at a time. Let me improve right here. You can't just lift like have a 405 deadlift,
Exactly.
on your first day in the gym, you know? So I
That's
think
what
that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, like a lot of people, January 1st, they're going to hit the gym and they like overdo it to the point where they're so sore that
Right.
they don't want to ever do it again, instead of just kind of starting off at your own, where you're at, and then
For
build
sure.
off of that step by step. And that's one of the biggest probably mistakes in working out, is just overdoing it too soon.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And just making slow, small improvements, and constantly getting better. I think that's, is the fastest route to, just being successful. Not just being successful, but just seeing like overall progress in yourself.
Exactly. Like you said, you should, do that with every aspect of life. Don't just jump
Right.
straight into the deep end,
Right. You got to go through it. You got to go through, the grind.
I'm looking at your Instagram, seeing a lot of SHEATH underwear. I like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Appreciate that.
Most comfortable underwear I've ever owned or worn. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, we like to think so. It's going well, and it's been a long journey, and we slowly built up our reputation, and it's really starting to.
It's really expanded. Like I've seen it, like UFC fights and
right
everywhere. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, I'm feeling very blessed. How do you, like the mentality of a successful person typically starts with like gratitude and, like just appreciating what you have and building off of that. Like the mental, staying positive is a huge part of success. And what's,
Absolutely.
one of your, like, do you have any books that you read or any kind of principles that you follow, or you just kind of have it innately in you to push yourself in that direction?
I think, just going off of like, past experiences and, just,
It's just natural for you, pretty much.
I guess just natural, but I honestly want to say my parents played a big role in that too. I've just always, thought that I've been just very blessed with like the things that I've had. I may not have like, like everything in the world, like the coolest cars or the nicest shoes, but, definitely, like I just appreciate with whatever I do have. And, I feel like I feel like I'm blessed because I know what, truly matters in my life and what I truly care about. And that's just like the people and just, how I feel, my health, like my happiness.
Totally.
All right. Like I like, I'm not one to like, I bought a pair of, Jordans 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for if you got it, if you can throw money down like that, go for it. But like, for me, I found out that I'm not much of a Jordan guy because they're really nice shoes. I can't wear them. I don't want to wear them anywhere because I don't want to get them dirty because they're so expensive. So I
have mine in boxes, and I only pull them out for like weddings or very special occasions. I'm definitely not going to play basketball in them.
Exactly. So I'm just like shorts. Like I want to wear them to the grocery store, but I don't want to get them dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never end up wearing them in it. So I'll just stick to like some Crocs or whatever, and just keep it simple, and just like, people will judge and whatever, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as it makes you happy and,
Exactly.
has you feeling great, then that's all that matters.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's the appreciation of what you have, and what you put out there comes back to you. So if you're positive, more positivity comes back. If you're negative, more negative comes
Absolutely.
back. That's what I've found, and I like to always promote this book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and there's a lot of principles of success, and they are so obvious, like persistence and faith,
Right.
like believing in yourself, appreciation, visualization, desire, how bad do you want it. um,
Right.
then these types of things they seem obvious, but if you really practice appreciating what you have now, it's like, how are you going to get more if you don't, if you're like always complaining about what like you don't have enough.
Absolutely.
So you're like, start with what you have and work and appreciate it and be thankful, and then that type of attitude transmutes into positive feelings, which transmutes into positive action. And you seem to have persisted since you were in high school working toward in this direction. And like you said, you almost kind of got bored with it, and then maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but because you were appreciated just what you had, the universe presented this next level, like this competition. Okay, now I can keep pushing, and that
Right.
is, the universe will work with you. I know I talk a little bit about woo-woo stuff sometimes, but I believe in magic. I believe in magic sometimes because it's happened for me. Like, I read this book when I was 23, and it took a while, but I
Mm-hmm.
always wanted it. I really wanted to be a president of a company, and I didn't know how it was going to happen, but a just staying with that mind frame
Mm-hmm.
really.
Persistence and believing in yourself.
Yeah, and then when the opportunity came and I jumped on it, it it's been working out, and we're just keep growing and growing. And so if you ever want to read a book, definitely check that out.
Absolutely.
It was written in 1908, and all the success books since then, I believe, are kind of like a derivative of that. You could pull a chapter and write a book on that. And, there's many chapters, and he wrote a couple other books, but he is responsible for like millions of millionaires around the world who follow
Wow.
these, yeah, because it's like, he took people that were doing it kind of like you. They had this
Right.
natural, innate kind of progression, and they became successful. But he was like, well, what are they doing that makes them different from everyone else who's just kind of living an average life? And you're far from average. But
Right.
and some people just do it naturally. Some people have to practice principles, and that's what I'm doing, and it's been working. So I try, that's kind of like what this
Absolutely.
podcast is.
For sure. I think it's just like, at the end of the day, it's all about doing what you love,
Yes.
and being who you are, and not caring what anyone else thinks. If you do what you love, um, and that could be anything. It could be uh, like a freaking president of the United States, or a janitor. If you love doing it, and you're happy about it, you're going to be
Yeah.
successful. And not caring what other people think.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, has
you
anyone
know,
told you that you can't do this?
I've heard, like, or people say, like, "Ah, you're too big," and I'll just be like, "Well, like, I'm not like trying to please you, people.
Exactly.
I'm doing it for me." and
There's a famous quote by Joseph Campbell. It's just like, follow your bliss,
right.
and it'll take you to.
And when you do that, I feel like you said, the universe aligns when you keep at it, you stay persistent, you stay true to who you are. Things definitely work out in the end.
It totally works out. And like my bliss when I was young was playing basketball. It sounded like yours was at one point also. And were you ever on any teams?
I was. So I played varsity my junior and senior year.
Right. And so that work ethic, potentially, the going to
absolutely
training or work, what are they called? Practice.
Absolutely.
That, and it just, I loved it. And I pushed myself so hard. And I, being this kind of short, white, slow, uncoordinated kid, I really had to work extra hard just to be average almost, and I barely made the freshman team. I barely made the sophomore team. But once I transitioned out of basketball, that same work ethic was applied to everything I did. And I pretty much, anything I've done since, in my life, I've always sort of excelled in, because I work hard and I don't, a lot of people want it handed to them these days. Like,
it's not easy for them, then they just give up,
And that's what is going to set us apart from the average Joes, which we need average people, because we need the people to bring us our tea or whatever.
Absolutely.
What else do you do? But I know you play video games. You're taking a break from that, but like, what other sort of passions or?
So, I mean, right now I finished the Fire Academy back in spring, and I just have one more test that I have to pass.
Nice.
I've attempted it 3 times, so this is going to be my 4th. It's the National Registry for EMT, and I'm like just set on passing this. I know I just need to take it. So I'm just have been studying these past 2 weeks. Took a little 20-hour course, just preparing myself, and I should be testing sometime next week. But I want to try to do that, and then eventually get a job somewhere in Dallas as a firefighter. And
that's really cool. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The persistence. You failed it the first time. Most people might say, I can't do this or whatever, and go try something else. But I think to be a firefighter, is that what you're trying to do?
Right.
Or EMT?
Or firefighter.
Okay. And that's such a noble, your first responder, you're saving people's lives, putting out fires, saving the world, if you will.
Right.
Because I live in the middle of Woodland Park, which I'm looking over a sea of, I honestly, probably a million or more trees. I can see over the top of them, but from time to time there's fires, and we need you guys to take care of that for us. And Stipe Miocic, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's the heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC, and he's a full-time firefighter still.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, he lives where does he live? What's that? Ohio. Like, people from Ohio are all about Ohio. And anyways, he could just quit and be the champion of the world, but he goes to work.
Does that? Yeah. That's it's funny because kind of picking up when we were talking about like the universe aligning and all that. But like, I didn't even know I wanted to be a firefighter. Like, that thought in my mind in high school never came across. It was like the last thing on my mind. And then eventually one day, I had a talk with a friend, and did the internet connection go out? Oh, you can still hear me?
No.
Okay, we're good. I had a talk with a friend, and they were telling me, like, because I was going to school. I was going to school for kinesiology, exercise science. I didn't know what I was going to do. And because I was like a PE teacher, but I wanted to do something that made me happy. And then he brought up being a firefighter, and this was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I was like, and then he just told me all of like the perks and like just
Mm-hmm.
mainly how it would fit my life.
Right? You can just work out a lot.
Basically work out. We have like, there's huge kitchens in every
Mm-hmm.
station. So I can always be on top of my diet. And I've never been a desk guy. I can never, or like a server, or I could never do that. Sales, right? I could, like, I've seen my dad doing that, and he tells me all the time to stay away from it. Like, it's nothing but stress.
Can be like a
And
dead end too. I mean, I know
right,
I
exactly.
reached some points in my life where I had to just, that's when I ended up joining the Army. I reached a dead end zone on human resources. At my college tuition had run dry, and I didn't want to take out more loans to be a human resource director, even though
Right.
I'd probably be pretty good at it, I guess. And
Absolutely.
and technically I am, I guess, in the grand scheme of things right now, I'm the human
Definitely.
resource director of SHEATH LLC, but I'm also, the CEO and whatnot. But I have to manage this team.
For sure.
But anyways, continue.
Oh, you were, yeah. And then, no, he was basically, yeah, it was just, like a perfect fit. Cause I loved, and I found this out through like training and fitness, when people would message me and ask for advice, or, what to do, like training, dieting. I loved helping people, and
Yeah,
just helping people out. So
that's what it is.
the fact that I could like wake up and go to work and not know what to expect, I love that part of it. I love helping people. It was just an all around perfect fit. And I was just like, and I'm just mad I didn't start earlier.
You're so young, but
training,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I know there's like firefighters that get in there late, but it was like just a perfect fit for me, and it's something I love. I'm going to love to do.
mm-hmm.
I've never, of course, I haven't done it yet, but I've done ride outs, and just seeing it, the lifestyle of it, and it's and everyone tells me every firefighter I've ever met tells me they love it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited, because it's kind of like what we said earlier, just putting my happiness first, whatever that may be.
Yeah,
In life,
like you said, even if you're a janitor, but if it's making you happy, then
for sure, then excel.
You're following your bliss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't join the Army until I was 26.
Right.
And that was like, you're now just going to be hitting your physical peak anyways. You're not, I mean, I guess some people peak early or whatever. Like there's 21-year-old champions of the world that,
Right.
because you have that raw energy.
For sure.
But when you have the raw like that energy mixed with the experience, I think that's where you're at your best.
Absolutely.
And I've been to many fire stations. I know we've gone to fire stations to hand out underwear. We just like give them underwear for free just because they're awesome. And yeah, and I mean, my mom worked for a fire department, and they would always have these cookouts, and they have the big grills, and the camaraderie of it all.
That's what I love, right? The camaraderie too.
Yeah, that's what I loved about the Army. I'm still great friends with many of my, the guys I deployed with, because we had that experience. And when you go up to your first fire,
right,
maybe it's you got to pull a kid out or some shit, like you're gonna be
right,
here, and that's gonna be stories and a real
absolutely.
life. You're not fucking sitting behind a desk. Not that there's anything wrong with that per se,
right.
but like that excitement and the thrill of not knowing what your day's going to be like. And hopefully you don't have to go too much and do that too often, and you can focus
right, for sure.
and weight. I mean, and what, lifting, and because they have these insane workout gyms usually also at every station. Sure. So you're going to have, that's going to be a great setup for you to
absolutely. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. And when I part of the reason I joined the Army, I love basketball. I still love it to this day. When I can go just shoot around, I mean, that's
same. Yeah. Still a bit, I'm like, I haven't been able to do that because of prep, but like, I definitely plan on like playing at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, just during the off season, just to I just love doing it. It's fun.
Can you
Good
dunk?
cardio. That's a very good question. I think I might be able to. I know I used to.
Okay, okay, you
Uh,
used to.
I used to. I just need because bodybuilders don't really jump too much, so
Yeah.
they need, like, I know with me, I need like 2 weeks of playing basketball to get my jumping muscles and like my shin uh, up and going. But
Yeah, your calves and
calves and all that, and just get
just
used to the jumping motion again. But
right. That bounce. Yeah, because you're doing like I'm not static workouts, but I guess it's not these full body
yeah,
exercises.
right, not like just constant movement or anything like that. It's just kind of, I mean, it is kind of stagnant. It's just, standing and squatting, deadlift, curl, pretty much the basic.
I need to build. This is so almost kind of
No,
weird.
let's get it.
My butt,
The
my
glutes, okay,
the glutes.
for sure.
So is that like? Tell me what to do.
So my favorite exercise for glutes is going to be walking lunges.
Uh-huh.
You can do dumbbell, barbell, but with like very long strides. That's
Okay.
one I like to do. Barbell squats are always really good. Um,
Yeah.
even hip thrusts. I know a lot of guys don't like to do them, but they build, like, the guys with the biggest glutes and hamstrings. They do a lot of hip thrusts. So
Is that when you're like you have your like knees at a 90-degree angle and your back on the ground and you're like lifting
the
your
bar,
pelvis
right,
with
yeah.
and you have a bar right over your like weight
Hmm.
on your pelvis
And you're kind
area?
of like just laying on like a bench or something, like a chair or a bench, like where your back is, but your butt's on the ground, and you're
Right.
kind of just like thrusting.
Oh, right. Yeah, like you're doing it, like you're having sexy time.
Exactly.
Okay. That's a good one. Yeah, I used to have one. I don't know what happened to it. I think I ran, I run. I love to run. And I know,
Mhm.
and Steven and I ran a marathon back in the day. We were talking about that. We did we crashed it. I think it's called when you don't pay for it. You just kind of jump in the
Oh,
middle
just
of the
jump in.
crowd.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. We made it when we finished, but I had never run more than like 7 miles ever. And leading up to it, I had only been running like 4 miles a day. And it, I don't recommend it. I promise you, unless you're training your body to endure that
Get
stress.
in that shape.
Yeah, it really, I'm honest. I can't even run anymore because I messed up my Achilles.
Hmm.
So that's why, I mean, I have, like an elliptical machine and I do what I can working out. I like, have you heard of On It, the brand?
On it.
It's
Oh,
in
that sounds very
Austin.
familiar.
Yeah. They sell supplements and they have these kettlebells with monkeys on them. And, Joe Rogan is part owner of it. And
Oh, yeah.
they
I've
do,
seen them.
it's what is this thing called? It's a steel mace and it's just alternative kind of workout routines that they focus on. The steel mace, it's fun. I like to do that, and kettlebells and steel clubs, and there's just a
Right.
different kind of, I guess, just like maybe new age
High
or
intensity.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
fun. It's really fun. And the the mace I used to liken to running with your upper body. You're constantly swinging this mace for just 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's a constant repetitive, maybe not repetitive motion, but just swinging it, and
Right.
it can
I'm sure
help.
that wears you out.
Yeah, and it just can lean up the body. And I've always, I guess, focused on leaning because I always have, like this little layer of fat that I want gone, like so many people. But I guess I could, if I just bulk up. Also, that's another way to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's like a struggle, like a cycle of just getting thick and then cutting down hard.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Some people are like one of my best friends, he's Asian, and it's like he's constantly just ripped. I'm like, you
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah, crazy. Yeah, crazy genetics, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Just that natural. I don't even think he works out, and he's my age. We're 40, 42, and
Yeah,
just still ripped.
some
And I,
people like that. Yep, those are the guys that are winning these shows at like 21,
yeah,
22 years old.
it's not fair, but it's fine. I was going to say something profound, I think, and I lost it. The crazy genetics. Yeah, I definitely don't have that, but I have a heart. I feel like my heart is,
Absolutely,
what kind
that's
of,
crazy genetics.
yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
mindset.
Mm-hmm. The mental and you I mean, you went over your mental like drive, talking about just the competition. But
Hmm.
what if there was like no competition? What would drive you to just keep pushing yourself?
So like if there was competition at this next show,
If there
and
was no competition, you know what I mean? Like if competitions were obsolete, would you still like, what pushes
oh,
you
you
ultimately?
mean like if there was no shows to do?
Right. Right.
Um, that's a very good question. I don't know.
I mean, the happiness you were talking about, your
Right.
bliss and
I
stuff.
definitely would be in the gym still
Mm.
training, just because it's like a great stress reliever for me, and I just love seeing uh, like results and improvements on myself. But um, that definitely would suck.
Yeah, I mean, that's
You
what's good
know?
about competition, though. And some people aren't competitive, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? I love
Yeah, for
competition.
sure.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, that drives me. And even,
especially when they're on your team.
yeah, right
You
there
know?
with you, and you can see them, and that you don't want them to beat you or
Yeah.
outshine you.
Or like when they're on your team and they're not competitive, and you're like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
my god, like this, get off my team if you're not trying to win.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's what I think is great about America in a weird like way, is
Hmm.
the capitalist, um the capitalist, uh just the system that we live under. It's very competitive, and you
Absolutely.
have to work hard to stand out, and we all want to be the king of the mountain. I mean, and if you don't, like, you're not gonna be, that's for sure. And then you're gonna complain about your life sucking, but you need to have something like to push you. And a lot
Right.
of
You want to.
times it's just somebody else ahead of you. And I don't want somebody else. I do want somebody, smarter than me, stronger than me, so that
Hmm.
that gives me something to strive for. But that's a mentality that a lot of people don't have. They just are like, where's mine? Give me
For
mine.
sure. Definitely.
They're not going to be competing with you in these bodybuilding physique contests.
For sure. No, like, yeah, you can. It's important. I think it's important to have, like, always to have someone that's done more, or done more, knows more than you in
Hmm.
your circle. That way you can kind of chase that. Uh, like, just surrounding yourself with intelligent people.
Yeah, like JoJo is
Jojo for
what's his
sure.
deal?
Yeah, so I mean, he's an Olympian, a pro. Um, but like like what I respect most about him, he's just a really great dude. Like, not like you'll never hear anything bad about him or anything like that. He's just a nice guy. He'll come up to you at the gym and give you advice. Um, and like, if you're like, yeah, he's just a great guy
Is
overall.
he
Treats everyone nice and sweet.
is he in San Antonio?
He's in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Because I've been having some people come train me, excuse me, in like martial arts and stuff, which I really love. Highly advise people. Just hitting pads is so fun. I really enjoy
For
it.
sure. I want to get into that actually after the show. I want to get into like something, fighting, boxing.
Just do boxing is underrated. I mean, I don't like to watch it, but
right.
practicing and training is so fun. It's more mental than you would think. There's a lot of
Right.
combinations, and just that impact of their fist with the pad and the pop is like, this is
For
awesome.
sure.
Jiu-jitsu is also great, and I love it, and I would do it more, but that can kind of wear and tear on your body a little bit more also.
For sure.
I've had more injuries in jiu-jitsu and like none in boxing. And the place I was going to, shout out Victory MMA, Colorado Springs, but 90% of it is like circuit training. Not 90, maybe like 75% is circuit training, and then the last 15 minutes we're hitting pads, and that's what I go there for, is that last 15 minutes. But you gotta do the work before you can have the fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know, like I wanted to get into boxing, but like I know, like doing like just starting off, it's going to be a rough starting point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I looked like an idiot. I mean, they're telling me the combinations, and 1 or 2 or 3 is cool, but when there's like 6 different things, like, okay, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
And then even holding the pads, because sometimes you're training with a partner, so now I got to know where to hold the gloves so that they can hit, and the proper number.
For sure.
1 is jab, 2 is hook, 2 is power punch, 3 is hook, 4 is like uppercut or something. And it's been a while since I've gone, because with COVID and everything.
For sure.
That sucked. What were you doing? And we'll wrap it up here in a minute, but like, how were you training during all that? Just at home or what?
So for the most part, I had a friend that owned a gym, and he kind of just like on the down low just opened it up.
Call the police.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that was a blessing. It was kind of far. It was kind of far, but like I remember going into the gym like during I mean, it was about the time where I was starting prep, and I was just thinking like, man, I couldn't imagine not being able to, because this is what I do. Like, this is my stress reliever. This is my, like, I want to go pro. I don't want to have any setbacks. Like, this would drive me crazy. But well,
that's a blessing. Thank
for
God
sure. I was grateful. I was like, this is amazing. But yeah, just training at a gym still. Didn't have all the equipment, but was not mad at all, and I was grateful for it, for everything that they had there. They definitely got the job done.
And you kind of had it for the most part to yourself ish.
I mean, there's probably at most like 3 or 4 people in the gym at the time, so it was really empty.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fine. It was never crowded or anything like that. So
that's
it was
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can wrap it up. I really appreciate you coming on.
And sharing. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invite. It was great talking to you.
You too. Well, definitely. I'd love to do it again and meet up. I know whenever I see you, it's always cool just to like shake your hand.
Absolutely.
And say hello and whatnot.
For sure. Hopefully next time we'll be a pro by then.
Yes. Yeah. I think just have some faith.
For sure.
And just you put in the work. I'm looking at your Instagram, and just there's a little element of magic in this life, and just have some faith in that. And
absolutely, I believe it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you again, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Go to sheathunderwear.com, of course. Follow Austin Burge at BEEZY Physique on Instagram. You're gonna feel bad about yourself probably, but he's an inspiration and a good dude, obviously. So thanks again for joining us. We're out.